Jungkook came home at night after work and sat on the couch. He loosened his tie and rested his head on the couch as he closed his eyes from the day-long tiredness. He was late than his usual time, so Vine was very worried. She hurried outside to see him, but he was sitting on the couch as if he was sleeping. Vine, Jungkook, you're here? Sleep in your room. Why are you? Jungkook opened his eyes when he heard her voice, and she stopped because something was up with his eyes. Fine. You're drunk, but you never drink. At least ever since you married me. Jungkook. Fine, let me rest, he said and closed his eyes again. Fine, but at least go into your room, she said, but he didn't even open his eyes. She shook his arm, but he didn't respond. Finally, she pulled his arm, thinking that she had the power to move him. He didn't move, but she fell on him. She gasped, and his eyes opened in an instant. He held her hands, and they looked into each other's eyes. One of her eyes was hidden, because she had always put her hair in front of it. Her eye had a long scar starting from her forehead till her cheek. It's just something she got in her childhood when she fell from the stairs. But because of such an incident, no one wanted to marry her because of the scar. Everyone made her feel guilty and embarrassed about the scar, so she hid it with her hair. And not even Jungkook, her husband, has ever seen that side of his face. Jungkook didn't care if she had a scar or not, or if she hid it from him. He just goes to his work at the daytime and sleeps after returning. They got married when their families forced them because of their business. It didn't matter to Vine because no one was agreeing to marry her anyway. It didn't marry It didn't matter to Jungkook too. He didn't love anyone, and this is something his parents wanted. She looked in his drunk eyes, and he was looking in her eyes too. Then he reached his arm towards her hair that were in front of her eyes, and he was trying to tuck them behind her ear. Vine's eyes widened, and she immediately started getting up from him. But he didn't let go of her hand. He pulled her upon him again, and she gasped. Vine, leave me. What are you doing? Jungkook, you know, I've never looked into both of your eyes. Let me do this today. Vine's heart raced as his hand moved for her hair once again. She knew he would hate it and regret his decision. But as soon as he tugged her hair behind, he smiled. Vine's eyes widened. She was either seeing things, or maybe he was seeing something else because of how drunk he is, because she didn't believe it. Jungkook, you look so beautiful. Why do you hide it from everyone? Although his breath was reeking of alcohol, but his warm and soft voice made her melt. It was the first time he was talking about her. Vine, I, I thought, Jungkook, you're so beautiful. He repeated again, but when she looked at him, his eyes were closed and he was just mumbling in his dream. Vine frowned and got up from him immediately. She blushed, but then she remembered something that made her blood boil. Vine shouted, You were drinking out there. I was so worried that you got late. Something must have happened to you. But you. He opened his eyes and looked at her. She immediately hid her scar with her hair. Jungkook sighed and stood up in front of her. Jungkook, don't hide it from me from now on, he said and slid her hair behind and kissed her on the cheek, right where the scar started from. Vine was taken aback. She froze at her place as his lips moved towards in a line with the scar. He softly and gently kept kissing her, even when he was drunk. He was gentle. Jungkook tugged her hair behind her ear once again and said, "Here, you look better like this." Vine looked down and asked, "Why?" Jungkook, "I don't know. You just look better like this." Vine, "I thought you hated me. You never talked to me, never cared about me, or my scar. And today, Vine, I know you're drunk, and that's why you're saying things. But it hurts, knowing that those words are fake." Tears fell from her eyes while she stood at her place. Jungkook, "I'm not drunk. I'm as sober as I could be." Vine looked at him. Jungkook, "Yes, I drank a bit before coming home because I was really sick of my work today. Nothing was working. But I can hold it. I'm not wasted, and you." He came and rubbed his thumb on her scar gently. "Jungkook, these words are not fake. I've been meaning to say it, but never had the courage to. I'm sorry." Jungkook, "I thought you had some kind of insecurity. That's why you hide it. But today I really wanted to see what was behind it. I thought I didn't know you were hurting because I never said it." Vine hugged him back. Her tears wet his shirt. Jungkook smiled and said, "Why are you crying?" Vine, "Just let me cry." Jungkook, "Of course." He smiled and patted her back as he said, "You can cry all you want. I will be here." Being drunk did play a part, otherwise he wouldn't be acting like all romantic, and tried to see her scar. If she wanted to hide it, he didn't care. But now, when he knows what's in her heart, he would never let her hide it. After a few seconds, she broke the hug and wiped her tears. "Jungkook, are you okay?" She nodded and went running to the bedroom, trying to ignore the embarrassment. Jungkook laughed. "As if I wouldn't come there. That's my room too," he said to himself and followed her to the room.